It's time for
DodgerHeads.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to DodgerHeads Unplugged with Scotty G. My name is Scott Geirman. I'm joined by my good buddy, Anthony Witrado. I appreciate you hopping on here, man. Ahead of Game 2 of the National League Division Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. Anthony, how we doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Excited about this one. I think this is a chance for them to make this series something that no one had really expected it to be, which is a quick one. I think they stole a game that they should have lost in Game 1, and I think on paper that was one of their losses in this series, and they won that game. And so I think that the pitching matchups in the next two games dramatically favor them, in my opinion. I know some of the underlying numbers for tonight's matchup are a little bit better than like ERA and stuff, but I think Snell's so much better, and I think he can give them length. And then you got a true ace going in Game 3. I think it's a realistic situation now where the Dodgers can go and win this thing in 3.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all things sweep. We're going to talk about all things, hopefully, shutting this down. Rob Thompson's hastiness and how aggressive he has been, talking in his pressers about how everybody's going to be all hands on deck, especially when you're down 1-0 in a short series. Going back to LA, I'm sure the pendulum that the Phillies don't like feeling that, Anthony, we know in sports that it's when you're in the lower seed spot, when you go on the road, the goal is to split when you go immediately away. That is the goal, no matter how you shake it out. You go out there and the away team, you say, let's hang on, let's win one, let's go back home and take care of business. So for the Philadelphia Phillies, they had the break, they had the bye, they're at home, they dropped Game 1. And now you look ahead toward Game 2, and you've got Blake Snell. And I would say you pencil in your Game 3 starter for them, and they put him in Game 2 and Jesus Luzardo. He had a great year. Splits aside, I know they look into all that stuff. They pushed Luzardo to a home start at the Citizens Bank. And now what I just saw right before hopping on here is Rob Thompson said that they're looking at using possibly Ranger Suarez in Game 2 if need be. So I see people in chat again to the tier ones. Everybody welcome in. Do us a favor. Subscribe, notification bell, do all the things for us. We're going to get you hyped. We're going to get you ready for this Game 2 matchup here coming up this afternoon. First pitch is in just a couple hours. Thank you for joining in. But Anthony, with this, it's not going to be surprised, but with Luzardo going Game 2 and all hands on deck with the off days, it's just how it's got to be.
Yeah, I think so. I think that even though this isn't a best-of-3 series where, a second loss ends your season, I think they're looking at it like if we lose both games at home and we have to go back to Dodger Stadium to face Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow, a split is probably the best we can realistically hope for. And so given that mentality, it is all hands on deck now. I think they're treating this like an elimination game for them, which is probably the right attitude to have. It's the right sense of urgency, I think, considering, again, they lost a game that, for all intents and purposes, they probably should have won, in the Phillies. So I think that them showing this sense of urgency here is probably the right move. But, Harrison Bader is banged up a little bit, right? Like, they got another lefty to face some of the mashers in that lineup. So, I think there's a realistic understanding of the situation that they are in that clubhouse in Philadelphia. Yeah. And so they're treating this as such, right? Like they might be the team with the home field advantage and the number 2 seed in the National League, but they look at the Dodgers coming in and they're like, this is a World Series favorite kind of team. This isn't a team that's squeaked in the wild card and they're happy to be here.
Yeah, this is how, we talked about this. I've had this conversation. I'm sure chat, a lot of you have had the same type of thing. Like this is for what we think a potential like future National League World Series attendee. Whoever comes out of this series is going to be a big time favorite. This is, I've called it beforehand, it's a Battle of the Titans. This is the matchup that all eyes are on. I know it's didn't have the prime time slot, but this is the matchup here where you look at the sheer star power. This is what the Dodgers and the Padres was last year. This is exactly that. And then, the star power in this series is big time. The Dodgers came out and did enough, and luck plays a factor in professional sports, and that's how it is. And when you leave the Dodgers a crack in the door, they break it down if they can, and they did. And they made it happen. They won a game. They stole a game one with Christopher Sanchez, who was electric. But game two, guys, Sarah Lang, shout out to her for tweeting this out last night because of the Blue Jays taking a 2-up series on the New York Yankees. In postseason history, teams taking a 2-0 lead in a best of 5 have gone on to win that series 88.9% of the time. So the understanding that Rob Thompson of the Philadelphia Phillies looking at Blake Snell across the way, and he pushes Luzardo up for a game 2, who has been better at home. We know the splits, but purely if the bats hit, they win. And you look at this, Rob Thompson, he knows that if you go down, it's a massive well to climb out of. And that's why all hands on deck, off days help everybody. It's not just one side. They will help everybody. That doesn't skew one way or the other. Both these teams can match up really well with each other. Anthony, with the overwhelming thing of, game 2, you go up 2-0, you go back home. It's not that you can sit, with all your chips. Going game 2 tonight, I feel like the Los Angeles Dodgers feel pretty damn good about themselves.
Yeah, I think they have to. They beat their ace. They beat one of the aces in the league in game 1. And so, I think that's why you're seeing some of the scrambling with the Philly side. Not so much scrambling, but just kind of repositioning what their pitching looks like. They're also talking about Duran going more than 3 outs already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they are treating this as it's an elimination game. And to go back to that stat you talked about that Sarah posted, where it was, what was it, almost 90% of teams who go up 2-0 win the series in a best of 5. I'm willing to bet that the vast majority of that sample size, the team who went up 2-0 won those 2 games at home. And the Phillies they're in danger of going down 0-2 with both of those games being in Philadelphia. That's a huge distinction here, because I think you walk into that deficit, and then you have to go into Dodger Stadium, and from first pitch, that team has a chance to eliminate you. I would say Dodger Stadium is going to be in a frenzy, knowing that they can end this thing quickly against the team that everyone suspected would be their main competition in the National League.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's not that I'm putting feather in the cap, man. It's that we're so vocal on this channel about the things that could potentially happen in game 1, and the Dodgers could see some opportunity there. And what I really loved is that Kike Hernandez, again, he's very insightful in his stuff. In post game, he says Christopher Sanchez came out and he had a little bit more zip on the stuff in that game. He had a little bit more on it. So the Dodgers, it's not that they're holding back. It's that they understand, they feel the importance, they feel how tense and how much this series is. All these guys are bringing it out. They're all taking care of business. They're all going out there and giving everything they got. And Kike Hernandez maybe got one pitch, and he made it happen. Teoscar Hernandez and Andy Paez communicated at home and at second base there. And Matt Strahm made a grave mistake, tipping the pitch. Teoscar Hernandez, it's those little things. It's those subtle nuances of the game and the game planning and looking ahead and seeing what you can. And that's what this series is going to be all about. It's that Blake Snell. We're going to talk about Blake Snell a lot because there's some overwhelming things he can do that, when I looked at the numbers and Savant, you look at the usage, he has a chance to go out there and silence Citizens Bank once again, just based on how he pitched in the last outing, just based on the numbers from the regular season, what his arsenal holds. Ivan says here, though, Doc shows huge balls by starting Miguel Rojas over Max Muncy. Love it. We'll talk about the lineup here. And Ivan again says, if everyone plays to potential, how do they not sweep? And with Blake Snell on the mound today, Doc has really been vocal and shown that his starting pitching can and will go deep into the game. And they want to go deep into the game. They're going to hold off maybe an early homer, an early, base hit string. What are you looking out from Blake Snell today, and how can he silence Citizens Bank?
Yeah, I think this is a game where stars have to be stars, and that's on both sides, right? They're going to look at Schwarber and Harper and Turner and some of these other guys to be the players that carry them to a win here. And on the other side, you're looking at Snell, Ohtani, Betts. You're looking at those guys to come through here. And so when you talk about Snell specifically, I think it's a matchup where you can continue to rely on that changeup and kind of paint the way he had been recently. Yeah. I also think that he's got a real chance to neutralize basically from like the cleanup spot down in this order, and to just, he can handcuff those guys. And you look at the big guys in Schwarber and Harper, and that's lefty-lefty matchup. And I think that when you have a guy of Snell's caliber, he can put the clamps on those kinds of guys too. It's not just the lower level dudes. It's the superstar kind of hitters as well. And so I think for him, if he has a kind of outing where he goes 6 or 7 and gives up 2 or fewer,
damn good.
You feel really good. You take your chances with that. The Phillies, I think, are some of their folks on the other side are grasping at whatever they can. Somebody from one of their fan sites posted that the home road splits for Blake Snell this season, and the home ERA is 1.1 and the away ERA is 4.3.
He didn't make any starts.
Yeah, I said, dude, I quote tweeted it, and I said, look, this is.
Oh, that was you.
This is not informative at all. Like, just stop. He made 4 road starts. The first one was after a 4-month layoff. He made his re-debut in the game against Tampa Bay. He's not even in Tampa Bay. But he it's Steinbrenner Field, and he gives up those 2 homers. Remember that were not.
It was the NLDS game.
They were not home runs in any other ballpark except that one they were playing in, and neither of them were considered hard hit balls of 95 miles an hour or harder. Mm-hmm. And so there was that start. That contributed to it. And then he had a dud in Pittsburgh where he went 5 innings and gave up 5 runs. I think we all remember that one. But the other 2 starts that he had on the road, one against the Padres, 7 innings, 2 runs. One against the Diamondbacks, 6 innings, 1 run. That like context matters here. And I have zero qualms about this guy getting this start in this environment on the road.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see Blake Snell on the road here, how he wants to be the horse. He wants to be that. I was looking at game 1 with Blake Snell in the wild card, and I was saying, this is my game 1 guy. This is exactly who I want out there. I had no issues with it, and I want him to take the ball as much as he can. I think he's tapped into a next part of his career arc. I think this is now where he's going to accept a lot of responsibility. His health, he feels, is in a good spot. His stuff is in an incredible spot. He's got everything working, and I think the rapport that he has with the Dodgers catchers, the coaching staff, everything, Ben Rortvedt, he's been, a stalwart back there, so I'm excited to see how they continue to work today. Yeah, and with Blake Snell, man, he went out there and he's not afraid to just let it eat in the zone, and I admire that a lot about him. In the last time he faced the Philadelphia Phillies in LA, he went 7, 2 hits, 12 punch with 2 walks. So it's about attacking. It's about getting the chase. Mm-hmm. It's about those abnormal things. And I want to bring this up. This is from Athletic Writer. This is Matt Gelb. So I appreciate him for this. The Philadelphia Phillies had perhaps their worst game as far as stuff in the zone and as far as chase. It was one of the worst things they've had, one of the worst games they've had all year as far as, stuff getting pounded in the zone. And they're not a team that does that a lot. They will beat you in the zone. The Dodgers just let it eat in the zone. Curveballs especially. That team, they are not good against curveballs, so I expect today a hefty dose of curveballs from Blake Snell. And that's why we're going to get into this preview here. We're going to talk lineups. We're going to talk game 2, absolutely everything here. But before I do, Matty Man says, Phils are like cornered animals. They will fight to the death today. So they got some lions in there. I'm not going to take that, cornered animals. They got some lions. But I should believe that today will be a test that they feel it, Anthony. I'm not going to shy away from giving Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, the guys they have out there, their flowers on being incredible stars. Runner-up MVP Kyle Schwarber has had an incredible year. Today will be the day. If they're going to show that they've got it in them, today's the day.
Yeah, they're going to they're going to play this game and they're going to manage this game as if their season's on the line, because essentially it kind of is.
Yeah.
The stuff with the Phillies too, like, in the zone and the chasing and all that stuff, like, they had been a very good team with that all season. We knew that coming in. It's not every day, though, that you're facing Shohei Ohtani. And then it's not every day that you face an ace like that and the other team can back it up with another ace. And that's what they're going to face tonight. And then another ace. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is where the Dodgers bread's buttered. It's for all the star power that they have on the offensive side. The rotation is where they're going to make their living. And you're seeing exactly why that is in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the stats that I really love, so today's is a lot about neutralizing, again, Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, and going out there with a hefty dose of as many curveballs as possible. And with Kyle Schwarber, I just want to reference game one. Schwarber saw 18 total pitches, 11 of them were in the zone, and he whiffed on seven pitches in the zone. So Kyle Schwarber got attacked. The mix was incredible. Curveballs in the zone, fastballs he was missing, and he has been I'm not going to go look at the MLB leaderboard, but Kyle Schwarber, I would say, just venture to say he's been the best hitter against fastballs in Major League Baseball. But with what happened, it's just the curveballs, the mixing of the speeds, depth. I love what Shohei Ohtani did. I expect Blake Snell to do exactly the same thing. The Philadelphia Phillies are not a good team against the curveball. Alec Boehm is their best hitter against the curveball, but you look up and down, Anthony. The fact that they've got low batting averages all around against it. Trey Turner is going to be up at the top of the lineup there, 169 batting average against. You look at just the regular performers they have it. Bryce Harper, 257, not a lot of slug there. So it's about doing what he does best, is my point. Blake Snell going out here and doing exactly what he does best. And with his arsenal this year, with his curveball, Anthony, Blake Snell is yielding a 175 or 173 batting average allowed on the curveball. I expect him to throw it early. I expect him to throw it often. And to the lefties, you're going to be going out there and throwing fastball, slider, just giving him a hefty dose of sliders as well. So it plays right into what Blake Snell does well. Again, it comes out to execution. Any final thoughts with Blake Snell and how he's going to attack them today?
I think the way the Phillies can possibly get to him is if they have to limit the chase, especially the lefties, because like you said, it's going to be, the occasional fastball in on guys, but it's probably going to be, he's going to nibble on the edges, and that slider he's going to try to keep it out of the zone, but tunnel it so it looks like a strike, obviously. Yeah. And if they can lay off, a lot easier said than done, right? If they can lay off, then I think they can get him into some trouble, because I think that's how they can get traffic. And then maybe good things happen for them from there. But if they are going to chase, and I don't even think they need to necessarily chase at a rate like they did in game one. It just has to be, normal Blake Snell induced kind of chase. I think he can get them a long start.
Yeah, and you look around, Anthony, looking around Major League Baseball, just the starters who have been able to go deep and make it easier on their manager. I mean, even to a point, Rob Thompson probably felt that Christopher Sanchez is out here humming. I'm going to be able to line up my bullpen exactly how I want to. And it's all good until it's not. And that's when the manager has to push the right buttons. Guys got to execute. And you've got to know when to have a good hook. You've got to know when to be able to just say, his stuff isn't as crisp, is not going to work out, and then go from there and then hand it off to the next guy. I expect Dave to have exactly that. The conversations that'll be had on the mound, if and when those times happen, if there is, traffic on base and Dave goes out to talk to him, what those conversations will be like, I believe it'll happen, and it will be a conversation. This is when it's, the big dogs out there, they're going to, give it everything they got. I think that aside from what we've seen in years past, I think there will be a conversation every single time a starter's on the mound. He's going to let them do what they do. But I believe it'll also be matchup dependent and how the stuff has looked and the stressful innings, the up downs, the leverage stuff there, and exactly where the Phillies are in the lineup. So I think that with what we saw with Dave Roberts and Tyler Glass now, handing it over to the bullpen, I don't think is a sure thing immediately. I think they're going to talk about it.
I agree. But I also think that Dave is probably apt to manage this thing in a similar way to the other side, Obviously, he's got the lead, so it's not like season on the brink, but there's going to be a sense of urgency, I think, because the understanding of if you go up 0-2 and 2 games on the road, what the rest of this series then looks like.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, man.
If Snell gives you 5 shutout and then the first 2 guys get on, and maybe it's an advantageous matchup for whoever might be in the pen at that time, I would not be stunned to see him go there. You know what I mean? And maybe the 5th might be too early if the pitch count is efficient enough, but I could see him sort of having a quick hook in a mid inning, right? 5-6, something like that.
Yeah.
And saying like, hey, we're going to play the matchup here because we think if we can shut this down, we can win this game now. And so I think looking at it like that, that's what I'm talking about with managing with urgency. Because like I said, they all know these percentages, and if you can steal this game again in Philadelphia, it's your ticket feels like it's punched.
It's paramount. Yeah. And this has been winning game 1. It cannot be undersold how much of importance that was. And people are asking about the lineups. I'm going to have these up here. I don't have a graphic, so I apologize, everybody. I'm just going to go through them. If you got a pen and a paper, if you want to just go up to MLB.com, DodgerBlue.com, we've got everything listed out there. Please head up to Twitter. Dodgers rolling out Shohei Ohtani at DH, Mookie Betts at short, Teoscar Hernandez in right, Freddie Freeman at first, Tommy Edman at second, Kike Hernandez in left. Max Muncy is sitting today. Yep. Miguel Rojas is at third base. Andy Pages is in center, and Big Ben Rortvedt behind the dish. I like that lineup. I was happy with it. I didn't expect Alex Call to go back-to-back days here. I just like the matchup against Sanchez based on the history, and he proved he did a good job there. So this is Dave pushing another button with Miguel Rojas going in there at third base, sitting Max Muncy against another lefty where he has really struggled. It is no secret. I understand the postseason pedigree. I get it. But I'm purely talking about you have to maximize every at-bat. And to what we saw, Anthony, exactly how it played out. Max Muncy got a big at-bat against a right-handed reliever, and Dave had a perfect opportunity to do it. Max Muncy chased 2 times. It is what it is. That's in the past, but that's exactly how they figure to play it again. So
the process was correct.
The process was exactly correct. It just that the outcome just didn't happen, but it's about the process. Thank you, buddy. You're on. You're locked in. About the Dodgers lineup there, you like this. Everything's good to go.
I like it. Yeah, and I said it on our show last night with Jeff and Matt that I was fine with Alex Call getting the start in game 1 and then how they managed it from there on. And I'm fine today with it being a combination of Kike, Rojas, however you want to decide that, who might have bumped who out of the lineup here.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think, these are not advantageous matchups for Max Muncy when he's this version of himself. He has not looked great recently. And, whether it's the effects of the shot to the head or whatever it might be with him, he hasn't looked like regular Max. So I think if you say, okay, you know what, we're going to platoon this thing for a little bit and hopefully you can kind of get better, and then we'll use you when it feels like a better matchup. I'm fine with that, because also you're using Kike, who is, Mr. October for this franchise right now, and you're using Miguel Rojas, a guy who has been very good against left-handed pitching all season long. So to me, it makes sense. Like I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and you're looking around here. Miguel Rojas is 2 for 7 against Jesus Luzardo in the past. So it's like there is history. The Dodgers have a more positive history against Jesus Luzardo than they do against Blake Snell. So I'm happy with the lineup. I'm excited with it. I believe that, just so everybody knows, Jesus Luzardo's sweeper usage is at an unbelievable rate. Jesus Luzardo against left-handers is at a clip that you're going to look at it and be like, oh my God, you're going to get lefties seeing sweeper nonstop. So I had his mix pulled up here, and I got to pull it up just for myself here, just so I can read it off to everyone, just because I said we are being as open as possible. I want to give you as much information as possible. Jesus Luzardo's sweeper usage against lefties is at a 52% clip, and he does leave that thing in the zone a ton. A lot. So you're going to see stuff middle. Freddie Freeman tagged him the last time they saw him, so I expect fastball from Freddie Freeman and jump on that early. It's a tough matchup there, stuff darting away. But when the lefties are going to be able to get to him, it's either a sweeper that's going to sit dead center cut. It's going to be in the middle of the zone, or it's going to be a fastball inner half you're going to have to turn and burn on. So I like the matchups today. It's just about not chasing, going out there, staying square, and doing the thing. So the Philadelphia Phillies lineup, I've got this here. Trey Turner leading off, Kyle Schwarber at DH, Bryce Harper at first, Alec Boehm in the cleanup spot, JT Realmuto behind the plate. The Phillies are going with Nick Castellanos in right field, who has not had a good year. He has not looked good. Edmundo Soso at second, Brandon Marsh in center field, and Otto Kemp. I've seen a lot of Phillies fans have some kind of discourse about him getting the start in left without a ton of experience there. But the point is, Harrison Bader cannot go today. He's dealing with a groin, and he is available to pinch hit per Rob Thompson. So he will not be getting the start. Impact of Harrison Bader being out of the starting lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies and going with Castellanos, Kemp, and Brandon Marsh in the outfield.
It significantly impacts their defensive alignment. He is a true center fielder and can sort of mask a lot of deficiencies that the other outfielders might have. Now those are all on full display. This is not a great outfield defense now. And aside from that, like he can cause some havoc if he does get on base. Snell doesn't hold guys on very well. And we talk about that traffic and how it might be able to hurt you. A guy like Harrison Bader being on and him preoccupying Snell's mind or Rortvett's mind about, is he going to go get a bag or something like that? Yeah, it makes a difference. He's not one of their superstar players, but he's an impact player for sure.
He's an impact player.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this hurts.
Earlier in the game, in game one, there was a base hit, and then Andy Paez had that knock, and it looked like it was getting down. And then Harrison Bader comes out of nowhere, makes that play. That's the type of impact. It's those type of plays that another center fielder might not be making, lefty, righty, stuff like that. Shout out to Matt Moreno. He put this in our private thing real quick. Per Fabian Ardaya, he said that for what it's worth, Will Smith caught Yoshinobu Yamamoto's bullpen session, and Will Smith said his hand feels fine. With what we think here, Will Smith, they're going to have the same type of game plan they had in game one. They're going to go Rortvedt for half the game. It's going to be all game script. It's going to be how things kind of play out there if you need him, and if it's at a spot where Will Smith's bat, which is an incredible piece off the bench, make no mistake about it, that they're going to go Will Smith in the middle of the game. So, Anthony, the impact of possibly getting Max Muncy and Will Smith maybe for a longer leash at some spot, maybe Rortvedt one at bat, then you hand it over to Will Smith there. I mean, it's going to be an easy answer here, but Will Smith getting inserted in the middle of the game against the Phillies, talk to that.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think they'll find a spot for him. You're going to see him most likely tonight. But I think the bigger piece of this is that he's not just a pinch hitter. He's a guy now who can sort of be inserted into the lineup and stay in the game and give you value on both sides of the ball. I think that's a big weapon here for Dave to be able to use, and where Will's not just a pinch hitter. Sorry about that. I'm at my offices, and
you're good, buddy.
They have those automatic lights where if you don't move enough that they go off. But so I think that they're in a good spot there because while it wouldn't necessarily hurt them because they're carrying three catchers, it allows you to use Will Smith for more than just one at bat.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's Will Smith has been exceptional this year. And I didn't expect him to go out there against Christopher Sanchez, have a good outing there. I didn't expect him to go out there in game one and just be all up to speed. He hadn't played a game since early September. So just get out there, get your ABs, get the game feel, get that adrenaline pumping back up there. Now I think that the preparation, we talk a lot about that. It's the same thing with like Tyler Glass now. It's the prep to come into games, Emmett Sheehan prep to come into games. It's hard when you haven't done something like that. So with Will Smith getting inserted in the heart of a playoff game after not playing since early September, I think the preparation will be a different, come this time around here. And I expect him to go out there and play with tenacity there. He probably had to feel, Anthony, where his hand was and how much he could push it. And now adrenaline's going to take over. Now the competitor is going to take over. Dave Roberts is actually going ahead and is speaking right now. Dave just said that Dave says the Dodgers are trying to ease Will Smith back in, which is why Ben Rortvedt is starting again. Will Smith is likely to start a game 3 if he keeps trending in this right direction. So that provides me with a lot of comfort. That provides me with that, a lot of feeling that Will Smith can push it. He is going to be up there looking to do what he does, be an impact guy behind the plate, be an impact guy, behind the dish, throwing guys out. Hopefully that hand is in a good spot there. And it can't be understated how impactful he is there.
Yeah, I agree. And this is where the schedule, this weird NLDS schedule, sort of comes into play here and gives the Dodgers some help, because it allows Will Smith to have those extra off days built in early in the series to get back and hopefully that hand feels a little bit better day by day. So yeah, big deal. Like I think that we rightfully figured that the schedule helps the Phillies because their rotation's not as deep as the Dodgers. But when you got a guy trying to get back in to the lineup and it's sort of a day by day, hour by hour almost kind of thing, then that's a big deal because that guy is an all-star catcher, right? And so the more time you get for Will Smith and that hand to feel better and like it can tolerate whatever it is that he's dealing with, the better. And yeah, given the progress that we've seen so far in an off day coming after game 2, I would not be surprised if he's starting game 3.
Yeah, no, I'm eager about that. I'm excited to see it. That would be great. A game 3 at home. The off day is just like we said, help everybody. That's not just, it doesn't help just one team, doesn't help a team it helps the team that you feel has their strong suit is in a point. You're able to line things up. You're able to get the rest. I want to talk about what you said about Rob Thompson possibly going with Duran and saying they're going to stretch him out as far as could be. Joe and Duran didn't come into a game where they were winning. He came into a game where they were losing. And it changes a lot when the bats hit. And I've seen chat talk about it. Again, everybody, if you have a point to make, if you have something you want to stop us and talk about, please put that super chat in there. We'll stop what we're doing and toss that right in there because you guys are making some great points today. I'm keeping an eye on chat. With what the Dodgers offense has the possibility to do early on, I hope that they go out there and they force Rob Thompson's hand and they force him to have to go into that bullpen. I want to see a game plan against Jesus Luzardo where, look, Ant, I expect Luzardo to attack today. If he's, dinking and dunking around the zone, forcing some chase and just not getting it, and the Dodgers are working counts, I will be as pleased as could be. If Rob Thompson has to go out there and feels the pressure to go Ranger Suarez, he goes Aaron Nola, and you have to go back out there to your starting pitching depth in the bullpen, and you have to stretch this out there. And that puts even more of a strain on some of these arms. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for here. Yeah. I think for me, against Luzardo, who had 19 swing and miss in the last game at Dodger Stadium there, I expect a fair amount of that again. He's just got good stuff. But I think the Dodgers would, early on, innings 1, inning 2, you go out there, you try to scratch across a few.
I think the other thing too is like, for as tough as it might be to lay off some of this stuff, like they got to make him work. I think one thing that Sanchez did against this team was he got them swinging the bat early and often, and it hurt them early on, until they were able to finally get to him. But this team's sort of MO with this front office regime has been patience at the plate. It's why guys like Max Muncy have survived and thrived in it. And so when you get away from that game plan and you start chasing a lot, it looks like it looked with Sanchez early on. And so tonight, I think that if they can sort of rein that in a little bit and make this guy work a little more, he can get himself into the danger zone early. And again, with the way that this game I think might be managed from the other side, that could lead to an early hook and getting into that bullpen real fast.
Yeah, last time Al Luzardo went, Rob Thompson this won't be the same type of thing. He let Luzardo go 7, throw 106 pitches with 4 earned runs and allowing 2 homers. That's not the case. That type of stuff in postseason ball does not let you stay out there. You look to make a change because just like we saw, the Dodgers have Hawkeye stuff. They've got some of the best, advanced stuff. They've got, you see between innings, you see between mound visits, stuff like that. They're all communicating, and we saw it win them a ball game. Flat out did it. Real quick, Blake Williams just shot me this thing here. So I appreciate him for giving me this Teoscar Hernandez propaganda. Teoscar Hernandez is the first player in MLB history to have 3+ homers and 9+ RBIs in the team's first 3 games of a postseason. So all credit to Teoscar Hernandez, who has quieted the crowd with his defensive miscues there. Hopefully, it's still notable, but with his bat, Teoscar Hernandez has done his thing. So again, we look at the Dodgers lineup, Anthony. We know it. We've seen it. Today, who is someone you're looking out for?
I'm looking at a Mookie Betts game.
Mookie Betts game.
Yeah.
He had good at bats. He had good at bats game one.
He had good at bats. He didn't get the results, but I thought he looked fine. And I think considering all of that tonight, I think some stuff starts to fall for him. And it's tough because you get some of those lefties with Freeman and Ohtani up near the top, and Max when he's in the game. And it can be a tough go for them on certain nights when they face tough left-handed pitching, and it's up to guys like Mookie Betts and Teoscar Hernandez to sort of balance that scale. I think tonight it's Mookie.
I'll let people saying they like that. Aaron says he likes that, and yeah, Mookie Betts. He's had 14 ABs against Luzardo. That's a lot of looks. Bryce Harper's had a lot of looks at Blake Snell too. Not a lot of success there. Would it be terrible for me to just go right back to say Teoscar Hernandez? Because I think that straight, four-seam fastball there, if he puts it in a spot, Luzardo will hang a sweeper to somebody. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it will happen. I'm going to say Teoscar Hernandez again. I'm going to say he does something. He has a good spot again, and I'm going to say he gets one. Everybody knows I would love it for it to be Tommy Edman, but I'm going to say Teoscar Hernandez as well. I'm going to say him. Yeah. He's my number one. I just think he's on some type of heater, keyholing a pitch. But you know me with Mookie, man. His at-bat quality has been great, whether it's a homer, whether it's a ringing double down the line, and we've seen him do that a bit. And that, I like that point because that sweeper darting in, I think we could see that quite a bit. Slider going down in. I like that a lot, Anthony. So that's a good choice there. So it's a really good pick. So I appreciate that. Anthony, I'm going to let you get out of here. I know you got to head out for the day. Everybody say thank you to, Anthony Witrado. He's been terrific this postseason, terrific all year for us. Appreciate you, man. Enjoy the game and try not to stress out too much.
Oh, man. Easier said than done, brother.
Yeah, we'll do the best we can. All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you.
There. All right, everybody. Ooh, too much. There we go. But yes, this matchup today with the Dodgers and the Phillies, I'm eager to see it. I want to see how the Dodgers handle Jesus Luzardo. I want to see how Blake Snell matches up against the Philadelphia Phillies lineup because it's about neutralizing Kyle Schwarber. It's about neutralizing Bryce Harper and Trey Turner, who had a solid year. But with what Blake Snell has done against this Philadelphia Phillies lineup, everybody in that roster, Blake Snell is a combined 569 OPS allowed. There are, with the exception of Edmundo Sosa and Bryson Stott, who's had 2 at-bats, Blake Snell has taken care of everybody. And JT Realmuto's has some decent success as well. But I believe Blake Snell is going to go out there. They have the game plan. They have the script. They know the stuff that's going to work against the Philadelphia Phillies. It's just a matter of execution. So with what they've got today, the matchup, the Phillies are going to be playing very aggressively. They're going to be very aggressive. They're going to feel this angst in Citizens Bank Park, and we'll see it. We'll feel it. And I believe that they're going to try to strike first, do every single thing they can to strike first. And Jacob right here, Snell is Zilla time. Yeah, you got to see it. You definitely got to see it. Everybody, all caps question. Toss those in there for me. I'll get to as many as I can here, get you hyped up for Game 2 of the National League Division Series. Again, I'm going to put this stat up here. Shout out to Sarah Langs, as always. She's the best at Slang on Sports on Twitter. And postseason history, teams taking a 2-0 lead in a best-of-5 series have gone on to win it 80 out of 90 times. That's an 88.9 win percentage. So today, Philadelphia Phillies and Rob Thompson, their manager, they understand how big of a deal it is. And Dave Roberts and the Dodgers, they understand what it can do to this series to put the Phillies on their heels at home. They understand it. They're going to do what they can to win today. I believe the Dodgers are positioned very well with their lineup. Harrison Bader's a big loss. It shuffles their outfield defense a lot. So I'm eager. I'm eager to see Blake Snell today. I'm eager to see the Dodgers offense against Jesus Luzardo, who have tagged him. And O'Donnell Boy says, so you're saying they have a chance. I'm saying they got a chance, buddy. I'm saying they got one. So that's what I'm excited for today. So all caps question, toss those in there. Norm, he says, if the game is scoreless after 4 innings, would you feel more or less confident? It's a good question. I would say I would feel kind of in the middle. How can I be more or less? I think that the longer the game goes on, I think the Phillies wonder why the hell our offense isn't getting anything going. So I would say I would feel probably right in the middle, but I'd be thinking, and the Phillies would be understanding that their offense hasn't done a thing. Their big guys haven't done a thing. So I think from that side, the Phillies are going to be saying they've got to get their stars going. They got to get their top of the order going, because outside of a second inning where Ohtani had a few fastballs left over the middle of the plate, Teoscar Hernandez dogs the ball, extra runners get in scoring position, sac fly, the rest. But the Phillies are going to be wondering why it's not getting rolling. But on the Dodgers front, it's going to be, when is that door going to be cracked? And if fans, like everybody tuning in, you've watched enough Dodgers baseball where if you're keeping it close, the Dodgers have those big performers where if you're going to hang something later game, we've seen them take care of business and not miss that pitch. So I'd be feeling a little bit more confident that the Phillies are wondering why this ship hasn't gotten going yet. So Norm, good question there, but that's how I see it. You from a Philadelphia Phillies fan perspective, their players, they're wondering why he hasn't gotten going. So try to look at it from that sense. That's just how I see it. Gag Jardner, he says, I have school for the first 30 minutes of the game. I'm so sad. Hope I can leave my class to great news. Let's get Luzardo early and head home feeling great. Appreciate this super chat here. You're a dog. Thanks for joining in, man. Yeah, look, get after Jesus Luzardo, make him work, make him throw pitches. It's not that it's an easy thing to just say, yeah, get Luzardo out of the game, because we have seen managers push the right buttons and take a starter out who is struggling and it work out. But when you have to go to so many different arms early on in a game, the only manager we've seen to do this for an entire postseason is Doc Roberts. So if there's anybody that I feel can push that right button, it's Dave Roberts. So that's who I don't want to see it happen today, but I want to see the Philadelphia Phillies have to start churning their starters around, put them in relief. I want to see them have to go to Yohan Duran early on in the game and stretch him out there and really push him to the limit. That's what I want to see. And that's when you'll see the Philadelphia Phillies not playing scared, but maybe playing, they understand their season's on the line here. So that's how I see it here. Blake, man, come on, bro. He says, what would be the bigger upset between Dodgers sweeping the Phillies and Drake May and the Patriots beating Bills on primetime? Yawn. Good win yesterday, Blake. Everybody tap tip to Blake. Big dub. But that's it. That's all I'm giving you, Blake. Let's see. TQT, if Kershaw pitches this series, what part of the Philadelphia lineup do you think he's most effective against? Or is he just a long relief man? He's most effective against, I would say, the bottom of the lineup because Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper against four-seam fastballs that aren't as elite. But if we're talking pure slider, TQT, I mean, Clayton Kershaw's slider is working. If that thing is humming, I'm just going to say the bottom of the lineup, because you can just go out there and you can attack. Hopefully you can avoid the long ball there. But the Philadelphia Phillies have a bunch of guys struggling in their lineup right now. They've got, Edmundo Sosa's taking care of lefties. So that's a bat today that you look at someone who is unexpectedly maybe going to get something, have some success today. Edmundo Sosa against lefties has been very good. So for Rob Thompson, I'm sure he feels about his inclusion in there as a plus. With Schwarber, Brandon Marsh, Kepler. I expected Kepler to be in the lineup today. It's Brandon Marsh instead. So Castellanos and Brandon Marsh against the lefty. Even if it's, Nick Castellanos, like Kyle Schwarber, like Clayton Kershaw, I believe he could take care of him. So TQT, I would say against the bottom of the order, just because the options there aren't that great. And Rob Thompson can't go into his bag too much. Let's see here. Yeah, Alex says slider curve could cook. I would say so. I would say so. All right, here we go. Sandy Feet was game one, a Russ versus Rest situation. I would say so. You look at him. I mean, aside from Ohtani just being downright filthy, you look at the numbers. I could pull up the Athletic article again. Their people were just as perplexed about how many pitches were in the zone as possible. Like, Matt Gallup, shout out to you, man. Athletic. He had a great article about this. Like, it was, out of 35 Philadelphia Phillies postseason games since 2022, The zone rate of 53.3% was the 5th highest, and they hit 192 on pitches in the zone. Can't have that. You can't have that. And they've got a lineup with a bunch of boppers who can do it. So if it's going to be Russ versus rest, some in the middle, but they had an uncharacteristic game on stuff like that where it's been that high. They've won those ball games. They've had offense, not a lot, but they've had offense. The Dodgers just pitch better. Good pitching will always be good hitting. And they came out there and they shoved. They weren't afraid. And that's why it was you call it a big balls game from the Dodgers. That's flat out how it was. They just let it eat right in the zone. They didn't rely on all chase. They put stuff right in there. So I was stoked about it. You look at more of the stuff from game one and you see how effective they were. The Phillies are feeling it today. And you're going to see that eagerness to go out there and do something early. So I hope the Dodgers and Blake Snell prey on that here. Miss Paula says, what's the chance of a Snell Kershaw piggyback today? I would say not high, maybe like a 5% chance. They don't telegraph those things. If it gets out of hand, then maybe, but you don't telegraph those things. I'm not a big fan of just like one guy comes in and you have him locked in. I would say, you change the look and go from there. Cause it's like, if you go from a guy that's throwing high 90s, big breaker, to someone throwing significantly slower from that same side, I would kind of change the look a bit, but it's to the game script. If it's out of hand, then sure. But I'm not going straight to him. I'm not doing that. And just letting it roll. No. Blake Snell, I hope goes 6, goes 7. If Blake Snell goes 7, we're talking a different ball game here. Dave says Snell Sheehan is more likely than that. On Sheehan, I really hope process leading up to the game is better this time, the second time around there, but I still have big time belief in him. Joe says, what lineup advantages with subs waiting like Max, Smith, pinch runners? It's a good question. So Anthony and I talked about this a little bit early on in the show. Again, everybody welcome in. I know that Dave Roberts was speaking a little bit ago. We've had some quotes come out about that, Will Smith, stuff like that. And him being available to pinch it today. And the plan, it could be similar to how game one is. Max Muncy, Yoshi, is someone that has not been good against lefties this year. I understand the pedigree. I understand what he can do in big spots. I get it. It's just been a flat out bad matchup for him. And I would, totally like to see Max Muncy being implemented the same way he was in game one. Max Muncy came in against David Robertson in a sub spot, and it was a perfect thing for him. He just did not execute. The process looked good. He didn't execute. Dave Roberts had a good spot for him. Max Muncy swung at ball 4 and ball 5 and got himself out of a big spot. So he could have passed the baton, and he's probably eager, ready to go up there and slug something. So he won't make the same mistake again. But Yoshi, that's how I see it. I see it being the same type of way. Will Smith coming in for a second part of the game. If it's in the early innings, if Rortvedt already has an at bat, and the Dodgers need some offense again, Will Smith in there, Max Muncy later in the game against Orion Kerkering. If they want to go there, Yohan Duran, then you go to Max Muncy and do your stuff there. But again, Miguel Rojas, no slouch, but it's going to be on Dave Roberts to feel a good spot for Max Muncy there. Let's see. All right. Good question, though. Everybody, thank you. Thank you for tuning in here. I'm going to keep going. We've got some stuff here. But yeah, real quick, before I take some more questions there, give me your X factor today, guys. Who's your X factor on offense? Who are you looking out for today? I'm looking out for Teoscar Hernandez. I think with what he's done right now, the mistake pitches. That's who I'm looking at. That's the kind of stuff that I'm picking on. It's the mistake pitches. If you want to say Freddie Freeman, who tagged Luzardo last time on a heater inner half, took him dead center at Dodger Stadium. If you want to say that, that's cool too. There we go. First one, Freddie Freeman. Yeah, look, Freddie's had really good at bats. His approach has been great. Working don't be late in or don't be late inside. Work yourself away. He's looked good. I like that. Let's see here. Yeah, Teo, Kike, righty's got to light it up. Yeah, Freddie needs to eat tonight. Shohei on offense, Kike on D. Yeah. Miss Paula says, yeah, thanks for answering my question. All the good work you do. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in here. Getting everybody hyped up. 50-minute mark, 1600, getting you all ready for game 2. Yeah, it's a good feeling. The Dodgers are in a good spot. I feel good about today. They just got to go execute. They got to go execute. You're going to see the Dodgers don't the way they. This is the other side of the coin, guys. If the Philadelphia Phillies go out there and they play like their season depends on it, they can go win a ball game. That's how it is. But to the question that was happened a little bit earlier, if they get to the 4th inning and there's no offense there won't be some great times for the Philadelphia Phillies. I think they need to go out there and they need to attack. So you're going to see that, and I hope Blake Snell is up to the call. And he's, kind of forcing that chase, getting whiff. People would like to see Tommy Edman. You know me. I'm one of the biggest Tommy Edman fans you'll ever find. He's saving a franchise. More pressure on Philly to win, no doubt. Have to. This is statistically, it puts you in a, 89% chance to lose the series if that happens. So their season's on the line today. Season is definitely on the line today. Thank you for putting this one, Ray. Have you guys been not concerned with Shohei at the plate, but he got fooled, I would say, on 2 at-bats the other day that I haven't seen him get fooled in quite some time. He was guessing 50-50 ball, and he guessed wrong each time. He was swinging early and often, and that was annoying for me. That was not concerning. It was just unnerving, if anything. Stuff out of the zone there, had big chase, and then at the end of the at-bat, it was just Phillies stuck with fastball on a tee, and he just looked right at it. So Shohei Ohtani today needs to guess correctly. He needs to come up today. Not concerned with him. He'll be good, but today he needs to get back right and have a swing. At least be a presence. Go up there and don't miss a mistake. Don't miss a mistake. C-Note, Teo loves the big stage. Yeah, he does, man. He relishes in that. That's why you pay him. That's why you pay him. Let's see. All right. Again, let's get back to some questions here. Let me put this up. Let me keep scrolling in. I'll take a few more here. Russ, X Factor Tommy Edman. X Factor Tommy Edman. Feels like one of those. All right. None? Again, all caps question. Anything else? Rich says this. I worry that the front office will let the laptop computer get in the way of Dave managing on the field. I disagree, man. Rich, we've talked about this for years, man. We've talked about this for years. That's just not how it goes. Dave Roberts has a pulse. I think there is more belief in what Dave Roberts can do. I think they give him the information. I'm flat out. I'm not understanding what you mean by the laptop computer get in the way of him managing. I don't see a decision where that happens. I don't see a decision how that's kind of been a thing this year. Dave's let his starters go deep. Usually sometimes in the past, or a lot of time in the past, he would have pulled them. As far as substitutions, that's just flat out what we've seen to the numbers. Like Max Muncy has struggled against lefties. Don't start him. Put in Tommy Edman. Put in Alex Call. Put in Rojas, Kike, stuff like that. I don't think Rich, I appreciate you, man, always, dude, but I don't see that this year. I really don't see that this year. This is they're giving Dave Roberts all the info. I think they let Dave Roberts go out there and manage. That's just flat out how it is. TQT, what concerns you the most about tonight's game? Luzardo has good numbers versus some of our guys. Concerns me about tonight's game. I'll be honest, TQT, Kev, I don't have much concerning things about tonight's game. The only concerning thing would be if they don't do the most of their opportunities early on in the game, because they will get guys on base. You have to go out there and work walks. I think the most concerning thing would be to have a ton of chase. That would be if the Dodgers are chasing a lot, I think that would be the most concerning thing. Other than that, I feel the Dodgers offense is well positioned. They're in a good spot. I can't argue with having Max Muncy late game sub. I can't argue with, you can't find me a better one than Will Smith coming in later in the game, or like in the 4th inning, say 5th inning, and taking the reins there and giving your offense a bump. Can't find it. I can't find it. I would need to see if Blake Snell, if we're talking pitching, It's the Phillies tagging him if he's really laboring out there, and then you have to dip into your bullpen. But I really like what the Dodgers have today. Look, playing against a team that understands their season is on the line can either make or break you. The Dodgers felt that last year in the postseason against the San Diego Padres, and guess what? They prevailed there. This is basically the same group. So to my thing of what all year, the optimism I had was they've done this before. We've seen them perform in these spots before. This is the same Philadelphia Phillies core they've had for a lot of years, and they haven't been able to get over that hump. And right now, they played an entire game of baseball at home after the bye, and I know they're feeling the effects that their offense did not get it going. They had an entire week to figure out and to get themselves going, and they didn't. So I talked a lot about how this is a battle of the Titans. This is a potential World Series matchup from the NL side that you can kind of, look ahead and say you could see either of these teams playing in the Fall Classic. But with what they did in game one, you can't be feeling good about what the top of their order did. That didn't look good. And I know their fans were not happy about it. It was a tough showing. So from their side, I know they're playing with their season on the line. TQT, this is a spot where you're going to see the Phillies playing for their season, flat out what it is. So look at that. The Dodgers already did what they set out to do on the road. You split on the road in a 5-game. You force their hand and you do that because then you get to go back home and play 2. They already took care of their job. Now you can go out there and take a 2-0, and now they're in a basically 90% clip to lose the series, the Phillies. So I understand that. Dodgers can go out there and play their ball game. Wait for the Phillies. But if you can, attack and then force them to really play behind it. Really play behind it. You're going to see some good baseball today. I'm excited about it. That's why I'm not trying to put everybody too high on the peak. It's that you're going to see the Phillies, who are a very good baseball team. You're going to see them playing for their season. So don't expect them. Don't be thrown off if they come out there and they're swinging or they're not missing mistakes. And then you've got a ball game and you got a series going back 1-1 to LA. Don't be surprised about that, because pressure makes diamonds, and we'll see if they can answer that. So good question there. Just want to give everybody as informed of a thing as I can. I feel good about the Dodgers, but the Phillies are a damn good ball club, and I like what they've got. Can they rise to it? We'll see today. Blake Snell standing in front of them. All right. Desperation, good for the Dodgers. Could be good for everybody. Could be good for the Phillies. Maybe they need that kick in the ass. Maybe they need that. We don't know. Flynn wants to know, how short is Luzardo's leash? I think that it won't be the same type of leash that he had in LA in September, where he went 7 through 106, allowed 4 with 2 homers. If Rob Thompson sees him give up a homer, you're going to see someone get up in the bullpen for sure. Yeah. And that's what I see it. Aaron, I'm not moving my light, man. No chance, man. My would drown out everything. I can't do that. Did it in the past, doesn't work out. Let's see. Rosemary, did you look at the Pies sign stealing stuff? I did. It's exceptional. Textbook. The Yankees are very big about this. They do that as well. You see them on second base a lot. Every team does this. Every team around Major League Baseball has this type of stuff. Matt Strom held his glove directly open to Andy Paez, basically saying, I'm throwing this fastball. Now, if you want to relay it to Teoscar, you do that. But my glove's right here. My grip's right here. You let him know I'm throwing this right here. And that's what happened. You see Andy Paez give a signal. There you go. Every team does this. But it was textbook. It was great. That's why you're not seeing anybody get on the Dodgers about it. It's all about Matt Strom. How do you do this in the biggest spot? Yeah. I don't know. Cool. All right, everybody. If I missed something, I apologize. Shout out to the 1700. I'm going to scroll up here one time. EC says, Grease Scott, I've seen Dave really grow as a manager, multiple instances where he's relied on the feel of the game, keeping Snell in, regular season, the bullpen handling. I like this version of Dave. He's got no choice. Right now. The bench, he's got two options where he feels good about. He doesn't have to go too far outside of the scope. He can kind of stick with Max Muncy or Will Smith there and get yourself a plus piece and go from that swap, because Tommy Edman, you feel good against or solid against both sides, especially against lefties there. Andy Pages, Kike, doesn't matter who's out there. It's October. So his job from the bench spot is in a good place. Starting pitching wise, just let the horses do what they do. Just do what they do. Rosemary wants to know what Snell's final line. I'm going to say 6 1 earned. 6 1 earned. That's what I feel today. 6 1 earned. You can do the rest yourself. Play good D. Don't make big mistakes. And go from there. All right. Everybody, any last minute things, any last minute whatever, I appreciate you all. Hopefully this was as good as informative stuff as we can prior to game 2. We will see you again here post-game on DodgerBlue.com. All of our written stuff you can find there on this YouTube channel. We're going to have our post-game here. I know Blake Williams will be on here. I'm not sure who will be here with him, but we will be here live to break it absolutely all down. Thank you for tuning in here this afternoon. Like I said, on when game days are during the week, we will be here at noon, I believe. I'm going to keep that. I think that the turnout's much, much better. I think everybody appreciates it being at the noon hour. But yes, buckle in. We got some good ball today. The Dodgers took care of business already in game 1, put the pressure on the Philadelphia Phillies. And I think that they're well positioned to see, really what the Philadelphia Phillies are made of. Don't be surprised if the Phillies play desperation and they go even up the series, because pressure makes diamonds. They're well equipped with the star power to answer that. But with the Dodgers, where they sit, they understand they're in a position to attack. They're in a position to wait for the Phillies to give them another inch, and they're going to take a mile. So I'm excited to watch Blake Snell. So everybody, I will talk to you later. As always, my name is Scott Geirman. Thanks for tuning in to DodgerHeads Unplugged. Until I can't say it anymore, go Dodgers.